everything in between. Here we are. We're back at the latest and greatest Street Kings podcast. We're here today with our 004 episode. We're moving along well. Number 4, knocking at your door. And we're here with Mr. JDMEKFERNANDO, a good friend of mine. What's happening, mate?
I appreciate you, of course, reaching out. I appreciate, well, most of all, I appreciate you supporting me. Just off the rip, support. I met you at the track.
Yep.
And I really appreciate the support. I know you went, I've seen you at the track. We went to Fat Boys Cruise to Times Square.
Yeah.
You've made it from all the way out here to frickin' the Christmas light show. And I won't forget those tires you let me get for free. I really appreciate it. Kind soul. And
listen, I always said from the day I met you too, and you are always good to me, but anything you ever need, I'm here for you, man. And that's what we need more of in this world, I feel like, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of people
in our car culture.
Yeah, there's a lot of people in the car community that's like one-sided, and I just recently started, obviously, producing more YouTube, and I made my Instagram public.
Yeah.
I was very like...
What is the YouTube channel for the people that don't know?
The YouTube is for basically...
What's the name of it? What's the name?
It's the same as my Instagram, JDMEKFERNANDO.
Okay.
And basically it's...
Get on there, subscribe everybody, don't be sleeping.
I appreciate it. It's basically wherever you guys want to see. Like literally right now I just did an engine bay, as you can see.
I wanted to ask you about the engine bay.
I started that from, I got the car dropped off from Barney, and the car looked like shit. The car looked like crap. It sat for fucking 7 years outside.
That's his EK4 though?
No, it's his hatch.
Oh, the hatch.
Nobody knows about it.
Okay. I didn't know. I didn't even know he had
No one knows about it because it's been sitting. It's been sitting.
He had an SI, I think, the last time.
Yes, he has it. And I always tell him to sell me it. Because I had one.
Not too many of them knocking about.
I had one and I sold it. And it's fucking...
Real SI?
Yeah, real SI. And literally that one I went...
Did you have everybody always talks about the unicorn grey carpets in the SIs? You ever hear that?
There's
black, there's black carpets and then there's grey carpets.
Grey carpets, and then they were crappy, so I threw them out. And people are gonna probably be like, "Why you do that?" But I found
years ago, nobody.
You know what's crazy? I sold that car 2020, and I bought that car 2019 before the pandemic. Guess how much I paid for that car?
Much.
$600. Running and driving.
Before the pandemic?
Yeah, running and driving.
Talking what, 4 years ago?
Yeah. I bought the car.
600, you said?
$600.
Fuck yeah,
the car was
literally... Put that in perspective, like there's people selling cars right now with no suspension, no wheels, lying on the floor.
Saul just sold my car to somebody that I know for $5,000 as a show. No rear disc, as a roller. I
don't know about you, but if that shit wasn't about fucking... I don't think that pandemic had anything to do with health. I think it just had fucking up in the prices on us all, you know?
Bro, I was literally... It's fucked up.
Shit's inflated by like 400%, maybe more.
I know. It's literally a memory popped up on my Instagram yesterday. A memory, and it was an ad that I was selling parts. Bro, I was selling a B16 head for $150. A B16 head. How much is that going for now? $300.
You can't even get a cam for that.
And it was bone stock B16 head. $150.
Holy fuck! Like
it's insane how prices just went up, and it's
like I seen, I think a while ago, just at the end of the pandemic, I think I seen an Integra Type R go for $100,000, something like that. USDM too, not even a JDM one.
It's fucking insane.
EK9's going for 60,000. You know.
Yeah, and it's like
these are cars that were burnt and nobody gave a fuck about. But even red cars, people used to give them away. I don't like red seats.
$1,000, they'd be like 1,000 or like. $600. Now they're going for like 2,000. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yo, when we were kids in Ireland, people used to make fun of people because, look, you're gay, you have red seats, stupid shit like that. They didn't know what they were, and look at what they are now.
Well, now you come to the States and everybody's like,
so you get a rip pair for 2,000.
Yeah, and everybody's like, yo, I wish I could get those.
I paid 14 for mine.
Really?
Yeah.
Man, they look good.
Not too bad. I got them from Right Hand Drive Johnny. Shout out Right Hand Drive Johnny, good man. He's got a beautiful fucking EK.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, bro.
K-Series turbo.
It's just, it sucks because the car community is just getting worse, as in prices, and it's just like, inflation is just getting...
It's not easy for the little guy or the middle guy anymore.
I mean, put it as, I'm very young. There's I was blessed enough.
How old are you, Fernando?
I'm 21. I'm about to turn 22 in April.
Man's a baby and he's had it all already.
I've been in this shit for a long time. I'm not trying to be like.
For the people who don't know, your car is the exact same as mine. Well, except as we said 10 minutes ago, exact same as mine but better. I love his car. He's got the JDM look, SIR bumpers and stuff. When we seen each other at the track the first time, I was like, holy fuck. And
black slips, black everything, and it's just like...
I seen the man's face, I'm like, holy shit, we're like twins here. So,
yeah.
It was a great moment.
Everyone looks at me and they're like, yo, like, is that mommy and daddy? I'm like, nah, it's just all by myself. Hard work. I've literally been working since I was 16.
To be honest, I didn't even know you were that young. I've known you for a while and I didn't even know you were that young. You carry yourself very well, man.
Yeah, I'm 21. A lot of people get surprised because they're like, you're so young. How the fuck you know so much? But there's a lot that a lot of people don't know, and the people that really know me, like it's Chris knows me since I was like
Sellers, Chris
knows
Sellers,
me
right?
since I was.
He's on the barrel.
Yeah,
Sticker on the barrel there, so he's
him. A lot of people like Fat Boy. He I don't know. I never really was very close to him, but he knows my father, and a lot of people you'll ask. A lot of people you'll ask like, yo, who's this kid? If they know me, they'll be like, yo, that was the most littlest kid in the street races. Pee Wee used to have me on his shoulders. I used to be 5, 6 years old.
Pee Wee's
at the street. I was in 2000.
That's your rival.
Yeah, 2006, 2007. I was in like Pee Wee's shoulders.
I can't believe you're that young. It's fucking scary, man. I thought you were definitely fucking like 25, 26. Yeah. Like how old's Pee Wee? Pee Wee's my age, right? Maybe even older than me.
I think he's in his 40s. He's around my dad's
40s, Pee Wee 40.
Yeah.
What shit, Pee Wee? You got the moisturizer, boy. That boy looking good.
Yeah, he's probably like around my dad's age. My dad's is 43, 44, around there.
It was funny. One time, me and you were. Someone put up I remember one of them polls. I think it was.
And they put against, and I was just like, damn, why they gotta do it like that?
So what do you call it? You know SIR Tiz? He built the yellow Pikachu car.
Yeah, Tizzy. Yeah. He even knows me since I was little.
He's a gentleman. Good people. So I met him at Fat Boy's when I was first building my car, when Fat Boy was doing my car. And I sent him that post and he goes, nah man, I'm staying out of this one. He said, I know his father for years and all.
Yeah.
And, do you know what I mean?
My dad's been an OG, triple OG.
Yeah.
My dad had a K Turbo hatch, a Midorian green hatch that, you know.
Yeah. So that's why I brought that up. A few people, like when I've reposted stuff that you did or fucking like, you know, we've been together, they've been like, oh, I know him, I know his father, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Like
definitely well known in the streets.
I've been well known, you know.
Might have to get Pops on here too then.
My Pops, he's long retired. After he got
no more cars for him.
Nah, he got arrested for street racing. He came out on News 12. They accused him of being ringleader as hoster.
12 years old?
No,
I say what?
No, on News 12, like you go on news12.com and you search up my name.
Oh, me.
Yeah, and they try to accuse him as something big, and then he was just like, I'm out. He's like, I don't.
For cars like that. You know, I don't get it. There's fucking people out there, pedophiles, rapists, murderers, and they never ever on the TV. But
my dad was literally they record him, carry him out to jail, like out of the precinct and all that. And I'm just, you know, I was at the time in 6th grade, so I was like 13, 14, and I'm like very like I grew up with my grandfather, so I'm very like. Oh, like I wake up at 6 in the morning, I turn on the TV, watch the news.
Yeah, the military mentality.
And literally, the first thing I seen, I was literally minding my business, and I heard my name, which is, you know, my full name, and I'm like, Fernando, and I'm like,
kicking in the door.
I'm like, scratching my head, I'm like, wait a second, and I have...
Your father's got the same name?
Yeah, well, I'm junior.
You're junior.
So I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, what am I listening to? I'm like, am I okay? Like, so I sit around, I tell my mom, and my mom and my dad had been separated since I was in 3rd grade. So I'm like, I shook my mom, like, Mom, I don't know if I'm going crazy or ballistic, but I think I heard my name. You know, they replay it again, and they say my full name, and I'm like, Mom. I'm like, okay, I shake my mom up, I'm like, Mom, they got my dad. And it's crazy, because that same night, I told my dad, I was like, I want to go, and my dad was like, no, I can't take you. And I was pissed off, and you know, good thing I didn't go because it could have been a lot worse. But, you know.
Yo, and that was in a time, I guess, if you said that was what, you were 14 years old or so.
So 2016.
So there was a big auto crime team here in America at the time, right?
It was
In
dying.
New York.
It was already dying down.
Okay.
Auto crime was bad like 2010, 12, 13.
Where I come from in Belfast, it's just wild. Couldn't park a car like that anywhere.
Well, back in the day, you know, my dad or his friends would be like, "Yo, you know, protect your shit."
Yeah.
And it's crazy how I get upset because the newer generation, as people my age, make the car community look bad. I'm not bragging that I'm high shit, you know.
No,
it's just I've seen it from
the takeovers.
Yes, I've seen it from.
Shit's fucking nuts.
It's cool in their aspect. Me, I'd rather go on a straight line, cruise around with friends, you know, be humble and respect the people outside because you know there's obviously
the track's beautiful. Like
that's going back to another thing. I get a lot of shit. My dad's well known. My dad was an animal at street racing. He's a fucking, everyone says. They call him Chiquitin. And they'd be like, yo, Chiquitin's a driver. And everybody asks me, they're like, why don't you street race?
Chiquitin for the win, huh?
Yeah, and it just always went back to, I don't want to end up like my dad. You know, I don't want to.
Well, you just don't want to get in trouble. Not that you don't want to end up like him. He was good at his craft and all, but you just don't want to get in trouble aspect.
I don't want to be troubled, and you know.
You prefer to be respected for it than get in trouble for it.
Yes, and I'd rather just build a future for myself. At the end of the day, streets are always going to bring you nothing but trouble, you know.
Yep.
And the way, you know, people now in the street races, you know, they try to not pay you if they lose. And like I said, I grew up watching.
You think cameras ruined street racing?
Yes, it has to be. It has to be because one, now the cops are onto you. Look, like now you can't do anything with, you know, you gotta be careful on who's following you. Two, you know, back then there wasn't that much social media. There was pt1.com. You could ask the OG people like.
I'm Ty Boogie.
Well, yeah.
You've been around for a while.
Yeah, you probably know. Like I used to watch Ty Boogie and like.
More than 10 years, I think, Ty Boogie's been out.
Yeah, and like you watch all their videos, like, and like the street races look so fun, and like you wouldn't see, like you see everyone like enjoying, communicating. Now what you see is phone lights everywhere, and it's like the crowd is on top of the line, and that's another thing why I don't street race. I don't appreciate the fact that people are almost close to the cars. I remember when people used to street race. We used to street race in like, you know, industrial areas. When I was little, and like everyone would like the cars are in the street and everyone's on curbs and like far, and like there was no cars parked on the street and there was so much room, and now it's just like, you know, I go to Sunday Fun Days for shits and giggles just to say hi to everyone.
Nah, limits our boy.
Yeah, I go say hi to everyone, and, you know, that's how you see everybody's face, and you know you catch up with people. But like that whole being in the street, people blocking roads, I don't like that. Like it's so risky because God forbid. And it's funny enough, during pandemic, I went to test the car out with my friend. He had finished tuning it, and I went with him. And literally that same day, like a couple of hours, we were there, and it was just me and him and somebody else. And literally, street racers came, and I was like, I looked at him and was like, yo, let's park far. I was like, I have a bad feeling. He's like, why? Tell me why. And Infinity loses control, smacks the curb, and smacks on that side. Park there. And a second before that happened, a kid was standing right where the Infinity smacked that sign.
Well, it happens a lot more these days, I see.
Yeah, and it's like, you know, some people just don't know how to respect the road, and they don't respect the power of their car.
100%.
You know, there's a lot of kids that, well, not kids, just kids. There's a lot of people that,
in general,
they just jump in a car and be like, oh, pedal to the metal, and then when they lose control, they be like, oh, it's just a car. No, you gotta look at everything around you before you could, you know, have fun. Like, me, personally, I don't like beating on my car if I know there's traffic, because one, I got brake booster delete, and two, there's so much risk at it. I've had my car for so many years that...
When you say brake booster delete, for the people that don't know, what difference does that make to the car?
Well, there's no air going to the booster, so pedal's hard as shit. It's like you got double
like
clutch.
a tractor, right?
So everyone's
you have
like,
twin disc in your car as well, right?
Yeah, so everyone's like...
And that's a fucking... Then get the knees going, so...
Yeah, so you can imagine a brake booster delete, it's hard, and you have a hard clutch.
For a 21-year-old man being able to do this shit, like when did you drive your first manual car?
A lot of people say it's bullshit, but I started driving when I was.
Doesn't matter what they say, man. It's whatever the fuck happens, you know.
Yeah, I started driving like 8, 9 years old.
Wow.
My grandpa paints cars in the back of their house. I grew up my summers with my grandpa, and on top of that, street racing with my dad.
What's grandpa's name?
Marshall.
Marshall.
Yeah.
Marshall, the man. So he taught you how to paint.
Paint and bodywork.
And you painted your own car, right? Correct.
Yeah, I painted my own car.
With his help.
Funny story. The first time my car got painted, he helped me.
Okay.
You know, I was young.
Obviously.
I was young.
That's normal. You fucking paint the whole car.
Second time around.
You painted it inside, right? You just have like a little shop.
I painted the whole car. Like, it's a big shop. Like, people, my area, like my grandpa's house, there's a big ass shop. You could fit 5 cars in there.
Oh, shit.
That's how big it is.
Right.
And it's a big ass yard. And it's the backyard of his house. He's been doing that since I was born.
Okay.
And, you know.
So he's teaching you how to mix paint, wet sand, polish, fucking.
Yep, so.
Do all the prep work, getting ready.
Yeah, so before I painted my car, I was working. Before I had gone to BMW, I was working at a landscaping company.
You work for BMW, sorry, you work, to cut you off, you work for BMW as a mechanic, right?
Yes, I'm a technician there.
Now that's your bread.
Yeah.
No, that's your bread and butter for the minute. You know?
Yeah, for right now.
That's what you're doing right now.
Yeah.
To pay the bills.
Yeah, and it's a learning experience. I got lucky enough. I got to get in. I never went to tech school. I went to school, just graduated high school, and I went on my way to be an airplane technician.
Okay.
And I tried the test. I failed twice, and then COVID happened, and then I was just like,
put a stunt on a lot of people's fucking tracks, right?
My senior year of high school was COVID, so I had finished my sport, and then as soon as I finished my sport, COVID happened. So everything went lockdown. I quit my job, which I was painting airplane parts with my mom. Well, my mom is she works HR, and I was working in summertime there.
Your mom was painting airplane parts?
Well, she's HR, but her job does like aircraft parts.
I was gonna say everybody in your house is pretty handy then.
Nah.
Even a mask get the paint.
Nah, well, you can even ask my mom. My mom was in the street racing with my dad when I was in the tummy and they were running around.
She'll be, I mean, it's usually when it's in the blood, it's in the blood. And
it's always, it's like
it's everybody or nobody usually.
Yeah,
you know, because you need help. You can't do this shit on your own.
Well, my dad and my mom, they were young, so they started doing that.
Probably still young. If you're only 21.
My mom's just turned 40, so
I'm fucking 32, man.
So my mom and my dad used to do that, and then obviously marriage things happen.
Yeah. No, life
people, people learn and people go separate ways. But cars has always been a thing in my life. Like, since I was in diapers, like, it's always been cars.
And Grandpa was the one that lit the fire, right? Marshall?
My dad, mainly.
Oh, your dad.
Because my dad was at the time with the Hondas. I was 5 years old, I used to go work with my grandpa in the summertime. I was this little kid sanding cars, painting cars, and always helping my grandpa. And then, on the side, I would go with my dad to his friend's house. They were always putting swaps in cars, taking swaps out, turning a B20 into a B20 VTEC. So I'd always observe that.
That was like Einstein stuff back in the day.
Yes, that was when
they were doing that shit with no Honda and nothing.
No, my dad.
P20 chip DCUs.
If you ever get Pee Wee onto the podcast, or you ever see
I asked.
If you ever see Pee Wee, just ask.
Hopefully you're listening, Pee Wee. We'll get you on.
Be like, yo, what happened? Be like, yo, what was that four-door that Fernando's dad had? A white four-door. That four-door was a stock B20 VTEC with a chipped ECU, and it would tear a lot of shit up.
Yo, Pee Wee's good, people. Man, he just got me parts for my car just recently. Flywheel bolts, oil filter, a couple of other bits and pieces.
He's my plug.
He goes out of his way for you,
Yeah, he's my plug.
The Honda OEM Plus.
Yep. I always bought him. Yo, I need this. He's like, okay. And, those are people that, I've always learned you take care of people. Like, with Pee Wee, he knows me since I was little. I've always bothered him. I always said I was going to crack his ass. We always race.
Yo, I seen it with my own ass. I seen you racing at the track.
So, I finally... The first time I went out with the car, with the K-Series set up, I raced him. And, I beat him. And then we went again.
Yo, it's still blowing my mind that you're 21 years old. Because I thought you were a bit older. And now when I think back on it, I'm like, I seen you racing Pee Wee. For the people that don't know, you both raced neck and neck. I have to do that for you.
1150,
on that race, right?
Yeah.
And the two of you hit 1150 on the nose.
He 1161, I think it was.
You were
and I 11501, which that whole event this was crazy. The whole event I was struggling. I was going 12, not 12. I was going 11.7, 11.7, 11.60. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, the car the previous month before this was going 11.5.
You can drive. I fucking watch you. You're consistent, you know.
I try to be, and
that's what wins drag racing.
Yeah,
consistency.
Consistency is key always with everything. If you know your
it's
bread,
a great statement though.
If you know your bread and butter, and you got it in heart, it's it's never gonna lack of a change, and it's always been like that. I've always same thing when I used to wrestle.
I was actually going to ask you about the wrestling. Yeah, I seen on your Instagram you were wrestling.
I used to wrestle for high school.
So I'm looking at your Instagram and I'm like, no, he's did some shit. And then now you're telling me you're 21. I should have fucking knew you were 21. I'm like, this cunt's got 10 lives already, and you're so young. It's fucking class, man. So you wrestled, you did that. You're working as a mechanic. You're on your way to being a certified racer maybe one day.
Well, my goal for the future. You just seen, I started advertising my YouTube, advertising my work. I've always said I want to have my own company. I want to have my own way of getting my bills paid, and I'm laying back. I want to get into a union. I want to get a pension, but obviously, it's always, as my dad always told me, work like a dummy when you're young, so when you're older, you could just relax.
Okay.
So I wanna take things a different way, as in I wanna be that guy that helps people out. I want people, when do you see a YouTuber in Long Island, Brentwood? Nowhere.
And for the people who aren't from Long Island or anywhere near Long Island, Brentwood's a wee bit rough in spots, right?
Yeah.
I'm from Belfast. Belfast's a fucking shithole.
I live in the hood. So I live in the hood. If you go to Brentwood and you say Regis Park, everybody's like, "Oh, that's the hood."
And you're driving an EKK turbo in there, casual as
I tear the hood up. Fucking third gear burnouts. You just see the lines in front of the fucking house.
Number 11's up the road. Been the Fat Boy and stuff lives in Brentwood, right?
Yeah. Well, he lives in Central Islip, I think.
Oh, okay.
So he's a town over.
I know it's like when I'm going that way, it's always close.
Yeah. Well, that day when you met me up at Deer Park, we were like 5 minutes away from my house. And I'm not that far, so.
I noticed Deer Park as well has a lot of car industry around it. There's a lot of big, a lot of tuners, a lot of mechanic shops, Is there anybody in the industry you recommend who you'd like to work with?
I give everyone a fair share. I'm not the person to be like, look, I was selling my turbo kit. This guy from Connecticut was coming. He said, listen, I want my car tuned. I could be selfish and be like, oh, go to this guy. This is who tunes my car.
Who does tune your car?
Danny HPI.
Okay. That's Grandpa, right? Grandpa gets his car tuned.
My dad used to go there.
Oh, okay.
So that's where
the OGs of the game, right?
Yeah. Then that's my grandpa.
I was with Grandpa there, just Platinum, we were in Mexico. Platino's cousin was out, and the kid, what's his name? Tones in tune, the Street Tire King. At the minute.
Not Platinum. Platinum's funny. He's a good heart soul. And
Legend.
He's funny.
Legend.
Grandpa and my dad were always together.
Grandpa's good people.
So. Yes.
And so it's been around for a long time in this game, right?
So my dad and Grandpa were always together. So that's another person that he could
use.
His
car.
Yeah, his
car.
It's beautiful, yeah.
EG hatch, for the people that don't know, it's all motor on
turbo.
Oh, it's turbo? It's on Haltech though, right? It's or Fuel Tech.
Fuel Tech.
Yeah, it's got the fucking wire coming out of the top.
Yeah, the Fuel Tech 8-second car.
Oh my god.
They went 8s on a Honda.
He told me one time it was on 93, and then when I spoke to him recently, he said it's on...
Yeah, he made good power on 93.
But it's changed now.
I don't know. I haven't been to the shop in a while. I only go to my tuner shop,
show me a video. Show me a video of the car.
The car's flawless. It's a very beautiful car, and I just hope he could take it out more to the tracks. But
he's always threatening he's gonna take it out to the street too.
Yeah, and always gonna say I'm gonna sell it.
But that's normal stuff. It's like me. I love crime. And it's not going right, but I don't quit. Yeah,
that's
alright to cry about it, but it's not alright to quit.
Yeah, that's the perspective you gotta take towards cars.
Yeah.
You know,
Break it till you break it.
Yeah. Well, break it till you master it. Once you...
Even when you master it, I feel like you're going to break it again anyway. So you look at fucking the likes of...
You always learn something new. In the car industry, it's not always the same thing. You always learn something new.
Look at your man fucking high boost.
Yeah.
Farrell, he went out with his EK coupe and the fucking axle snapped, the wheel fell off, and he got coming down the track as the tripod, so he was.
Yeah, like
he still steered at home.
You learn something new every day. Like, you could get in your car today and be like, oh, I'm gonna beat on it this way. You learn, oh, the car's hooking at this RPM. It's always a learning process.
Yeah.
And that's why when I see people be like, I'm just gonna hop in this car and do whatever it takes, I'm like, if you do it, you got some serious talent. But you gotta learn. I've always learned. I mean, it's kind of corny, but I took it as perspective. I unite myself with my car. I rather know.
You gotta be a fucking B1 with it. You
ever seen the movie Avatar? You know how they unite themselves with the freaking things that fly around?
There you go.
With your machine.
Man and machine.
Yeah, you unite yourself with your machine.
And you gotta be confident.
Yes.
You gotta tell yourself, I'm a driver, I'm gonna do this.
Yes. You know, everyone gets nervous. Whether you're fucking gonna go jump off a cliff as a fucking
you get the shaky leg. Do you get shaky leg?
Shaky leg all the time.
Yo, what the fuck is that, man?
I don't know.
Anybody who drives a car fast who says they haven't got shaky leg, either they're not going fast enough or they're talking shit.
Alright, my question to you. When does the shaky leg stop?
That's a hard one. I sometimes have to put my hand on it and it's still going, but it starts for me anytime the cops, like when I first lived in this country, I was an illegal immigrant for 5 years, you know, so I didn't have no license. I'm driving, always looking over my shoulder, you know what I mean? And that's when the leg used to come off for me when I see the cops. Or when you're racing or anything, but it usually stops usually when you let go of the clutch, right?
Me? Yeah, basically. You know, Apple, they board you up and then they open the gate. Once they tell you. Once I step
Do you get it every time?
Yeah. Every time. Like, if you really...
Do you forget to roll your window up sometimes? I forget to roll. I roll up to the star with the window down.
Once I'm in the car behind the gate, I'm rolling up the window, visor down, my helmet, and I'm just like... And my hand is sweating, I'm getting stinky leg, and I'm like, fuck.
I feel like the first couple of times, there was so much going on that I wasn't even able to focus that I was driving. I was just like, right, let's just get this done and then think about it after. Whereas now I feel like this season, I'm going to be able to actually, I know what they expect, I know how to work the tree, I know where to look or not to have a window down.
You know what's crazy? The first time I went down the track, I was 16 years old. I wasn't supposed to, and this was before. I went to the last
one. I said it was in Mexico.
Yeah. Well, this
because we don't want to get you banned.
Yeah. Well, this place that I went to, well, it's already shut down. This track was shut down. Yeah, I went to the last event of the year.
Kendrick was just at a Honda Center. He was just telling me.
He put some nice.
He was just telling me all about
that track. That E-Town. I remember when
Honda. That's an OG track, right?
Yes. I remember when you used to go to E-Town on a Sunday or a Saturday. It was a one-day event. There were like thousands of Hondas, blocks packed. You can't get it major. Once they made it a 2-day event, it just started getting rougher. And you know, people like my dad.
I heard Pan Americans used to be bonkers as well. You know,
I went to. This was my first Pan American.
Me too.
To ACO and.
It was pretty slow, right? But it was nice. I liked it.
It was fucking beautiful.
I think it was perfect.
I had fun.
Perfect.
I took my sister for the first time.
What I killed it on was at the end, right?
Yeah.
It rained on us the last day?
Yeah. Well, it rained on us
the
first 2 days, and then the last day, it was just like, everyone was rushing, like, yo, you're next, you're next. Sick. You're not at the lines, you're lost, you know. It's a different,
I try and explain to people the feeling of being at the track, you know, like what do you prefer, street racing or track?
The track. You build so much.
I love street racing myself.
The street racing is cool because you see who's really a driver.
Yeah.
But the track is a different feeling. You know, you break at the track, you look at your neighbor, you're like, hey, I need an axle. Hey, I need a 12mm fucking nut.
Everybody cooking food.
Everyone cooking food. Everyone.
Pit vehicles, golf carts, scooters, quads, this, that.
I've been always to the track. Always, my entire life. And I always seen everyone growing up, like, hey, I want to be that one day. Oh, look, everyone's sharing. And
your fire jacket, your helmet, your fucking number on the window. You feel like somebody.
Now I'm at age, I'm able to do things on my own, and it's a good feeling. Look, I met you at the track. You know,
Been a pleasure, man.
I came across your account many times on social media, and I was just like, oh, I like his car. Met you at the track.
No, he came right up to it. No, it wasn't shit, and that's how it should be. I've met many people say, I wish I was going to talk to you before. Just fucking like
Yeah,
but I don't know how you could stress it enough. You know what I mean? Like, especially me. Like, I'm nobody to be afraid of come fucking talk to me. Like, you know
it's crazy because there's some kid that follows me on from Florida, and he literally one day texted me. He's like, "Hey, would you mind if I asked you this about your car?" I'm like, and the first thing he said, he's like, "I asked because there's people that are they think they're better than others." I'm like, that's not how this world should be, because at the end of the day, we're all humans. We all go to the same place.
Mm-hmm.
Why not respect each other? We all started somewhere.
Yeah. On the other foot, you do have to come proper. Like, you can't come like a retard. You can't come up and
like.
There's another thing people say that they come and ask you, but they don't even say hi. They just ask the question. You know what I mean? You're like, bro, fuck me. At least say hello first. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I literally told the kid, like, hey, listen, this is my setup. I would give you advice. You should do this and you should do that. And there's been multiple people hit me up like, hey, I like your car, and I'm not the type of person to be like, oh, I don't like you.
Nope.
I've always been like, that's one thing that I don't understand when people have beef with each other. Everyone should just be good.
I have it happens to me a lot. I don't know. I have a really fucking bad temper, so sometimes I end up flipping out on people. But 9 times out of 10, I say, you know what, I was a dick. But then sometimes after I be a dick, it's hard to get people to reconcile. You know what I mean? So sometimes you just have to let it go.
Yeah.
Because you can't let it fucking bother you too much.
That's just how it is. Everyone's different. There's people that show.
Draw a line in the sand, right? Just fucking move on.
There's people that I know people that just got problems with other people, and it's a long time thing. And I'm just like, let it go.
Yeah.
I could be.
Takes time, no? You know what I mean? You just have to learn.
It's freaking insane.
It's crazy. Such a young man being able to say that too. You're gonna go far in life if you already have that mentality. It took me a long time to learn shit like that. So
I grew up with my grandpa. Like I said, since the beginning of the podcast.
Old school mentality.
Yes, my grandpa always told me, like, this group of kids you're hanging out in middle school, some are gonna go smoke weed, some are gonna go do this. You do your own thing. You be yourself. Mm-hmm. And
you don't do nothing. You don't drink. You don't.
I drink once in a while.
Yeah. Water, man. That's all.
And then my grandfather smokes weed. He's in his 60s. Yeah. He's about to turn 65.
I wouldn't say weed's the worst thing for you.
No,
I'm a smoker myself.
It's not, and he started.
But anything in moderation.
He started 13 years old, and he's always told me since I was young. He's like, don't do this. It's not worth it. It's a waste of money.
Yeah.
And
it's a monkey game, like anything, It's okay in moderation, but once you start doing shit fucking or become dependent on anything, that's when it becomes a problem, I guess.
And I've always had the mentality to just be myself. The more you try to be like others, the more you make a fool out of yourself.
There you go.
If someone's gonna like you for who you are, whether it's a girl or a male, whether it's cars or you're trying to become friends, if you're being yourself, someone's gonna appreciate that.
And not everyone will, but the right person will.
Yes, and if someone has a problem with it, don't be a knucklehead and be like, "Oh, fuck you." No, just walk away. That's simple. Because eventually,
fucking phenomenal advice there, people.
Because eventually, the people there will be like, you know what? I don't like him. Now I understand. There's been multiple times I've been getting countered. People like, you seem like a dickhead, but in reality,
rest in bitch face.
Yeah. It's funny. What's this kid's name? Just Living. Some kid that.
I just still on Instagram. I see him in some of the car shows. Yeah.
He has an EK hat.
EK, yeah.
And he hit me up one day. He's like, "Hey, do you mind if I pick at your brain?" And literally, he came to my house. I helped him fix his car.
Oh shit!
And
that's nice, man.
I told him, the first thing I tell everyone, if I'm gonna help you, out of the kindness of my heart, just take care of me. Don't screw me over. Don't rip me off either.
Yeah.
I take care of you. You take care of me.
Yeah.
That's how it has to be.
Two-way street.
Yeah, and literally the first thing he told me, he's like, "Yo, when I first met you at the light show, he's like, I thought you were a person that thought you were the shit." That
Yo, at least he was honest.
He's like, yeah, and I appreciate that. He's like, I see you have a K turbo car, and he's like, most people think you're hot shit. And he's like, no, he's like, you were open and welcome to help people out, and I'm like, when you land a hand out, when you need it, it could be. Yeah. It's always me, you know. I scratch your back, you scratch mine. It always even out. And, you know, God forbid, you know, you're in a crisis and you're like, yo, like, I really need help, and the least person you expect can help you. And, you know, that's how I always, you know, take it in my perspective. You know. There's people that just don't think that way, and everyone's different.
Yep.
But
that's why we have to break the mold, though. Right?
Yeah, and
like you said earlier, you just gotta keep being the best version of yourself.
Yeah, as long as you're yourself, you're proud. The people that are gonna support you are gonna support you, and the people that don't support you, well, what can you do? You can't be butthurt. You just let them be, and eventually they'll either realize you're a good person, or you know they'll be like, you know what? Yeah, maybe this person is.
I find that a stranger will support you quicker than your friends too.
Yeah, it sucks to say. It could be your own family too.
More times than enough, you know.
Yeah, your own family could be your biggest enemy.
But then you can't let them be your enemy. You have to just sort of take it in your stride and just realize, you know,
you gotta be
whatever's going on in their life, they just aren't ready to be happy for you yet. You know,
you gotta be tunnel vision always, and keep it always 100. That's how I always viewed it as, and whether it was me freaking in school, whether me racing my car. My family don't support it, especially my mom. My mom gets scared all the time I take my car out.
I'd be scared too, though. You know, you don't want to lose your baby. You know?
Yeah.
That's the way she's looking at it.
Yeah, but, you know, I always tell her, you know, if it's going to happen, it's going to happen.
Yeah.
I know what I'm
trying to make it not happen, right? Yeah. Your car's not... You ever going to cage your car? Speaking of safety?
I've had my car since I was 12 years old. My car has...
That car's been with you since you were 12?
Yeah. My car has history. My dad had my car. My dad bought this car out of somebody's backyard. It was K-turboed, but the person never finished it.
Mm-hmm.
My dad bought the...
It's always been K?
No.
Okay. That's been B one time, right?
Yeah, it was B20 turbo.
That's
why when you were like, oh, I'm stock B20 turbo, I'm like, don't worry.
I was been there. Did that already.
I blew it up, threw an LS in it, blew it up, and then...
I blew up 2 B20s and an ML CSS.
Yeah, so... my dad had my car. He bought it off this guy. Finished the K-turbo. You know, tuned it, went street racing. A tractor trailer ran a red light, wrecked the car, bent the frame.
Damn.
My dad parted the car out, took everything out of his car, bought a Midorian green shell, swapped everything over that, painted it, made it pretty, and then literally an hour before the tow truck was coming to pick up my car to go take it to the scrapyard to crush it, my grandpa was like, yo, ask your dad for it. So, 12-year-old kid, Dad, can I get it? Laughs in my face and says, what the fuck are you going to do with that?
Goosebumps, that shit's class, man.
He said, what the fuck are you going to do with that? I said, my grandpa said, take it. It doesn't affect him. And my grandpa's one of my biggest supporters. That's why I give big respect
to him. Go on, Grandpa.
Yeah.
So, man, stop it, you make me cry for folks.
So, I grabbed the car and I helped my grandpa every summer. You know, little kid, summertime. I used to sand cars, get like $20 a...
How old's he now? Did I ask you that already?
Yeah, I'm 21.
No, how old's he?
Oh.
I know you're fucking 20. I'm shocked.
He's 64.
64, he's a young man himself.
Yeah,
so not old till you're 90 these days.
Yeah, so I helped my grandpa out. We'd get like $100 a week, $200 a week. You know, like a regular payroll. And then my dad would always tell me, I help
parts
you.
money.
My dad would be like, yo, I'm not helping you for shit. You're on your own. And that's why I think I have the mentality that I have. So my dad was like, you're on your own. You figure it out. So, young kid, motivated. People always tell me, the frame rails of my car were from this to like this. They were all to the left. And then little by little.
I've seen that thing go down the track too, right? It's straight as a die.
I bought radiator support, bought bumpers, bought fenders. I had my dad was throwing out a Midorian green bumper that was broken.
But now you ended up with such a beautiful car because of all that.
Yeah. So, long story short, I had, 14. I was 14. I had painted the engine bay. I was happy. The car was still not painted. And then I was 14 years old.
14 years old?
I had prepped the car. My grandpa painted... before I even prepped the car, I'm first thing going into middle school, I get my first phone. So you start seeing kids, different girls. So I was always like, oh, you know, I was trying to talk to girls and shit. So I forgot about my car. And
As you do.
I left my car outside.
It's either drugs, girls, whatever, but something usually gets in the way.
I left my car outside, abandoned, no trunk, no doors. I had doors in the shed, and the car was submerged underwater. It would get rained on, everybody would be like,
Long Island stuff.
Yeah.
Like fucking here in Freeport.
Yeah. Well, not submerged, like little, but like, you know, water would get in the car and cover it. You know, I was young, dumb. And everyone would be like, oh, that car's never going straight, that car's never going to turn on, you're going to have all these issues.
Oh, when they say that, don't you?
Yeah.
It's fucking
it's the same. I honestly got to make this into a sticker, or honestly,
get a t-shirt.
This shit just brought me an idea, and I should put that on the shirts that I'm getting made. My grandpa and me always have a saying, never came. Because when I painted my car, no one knew. And when people started coming to the house, they'd be like, what the fuck? This car was just in pieces. Like, when did it get painted? And they'd be like, oh, congratulations. And then my grandpa would be like, never came. The never you guys said that never.
Here it is.
Here it is. Like, you know, big fuck you. Like, you know, you guys want to hate on my grandson? Fuck you. Here it is. So then my dad.
That shit's class, man.
So I put in my first B20. You know, my dad helped me, and that's when I opened my eyes. My dad fucking...
Will you do this for your kids?
Yeah. My goal is to keep my car until, you know... my dream is to have my dream car and my car next to each other, or on top of each other, like, you know, and walk away.
Speaking of future, I was looking today and I seen, you know, Rywire Electronics.
Yes, I sent that to my girlfriend. I was like, look, and I work with electric cars.
I don't know if you've seen, but they took...
I work with electric cars, so a lot of BMWs.
It's a dual electric motor.
The whole, like, literally, if we
one in the front, one in the back, right?
Yeah, basically,
right?
But
one powers two wheels and one powers...
Well, that's how Rywire's car is. But BMW, the whole underside of the car is the whole electronic. It's all electric. And literally, I always tell my coworkers, I'm like, yo, I want to get one of these and throw it in a Honda.
So that's what Rywire did, was he took something similar to that and put it in a, same as us, red EK hatch.
And I'm just like... And
it's fucking phenomenal. And it's what, 1,200 horsepower?
Yeah.
And it makes no noise.
Yep. I've been in an electric car when I went to BMW school, because they send you, like, once... They send you for courses. I went in an electric car and...
Would you do electric over gas if it came down to it?
If gas came to the point that it's extinct, that I can't get resources to get gas.
If gas is still available and you have gas or electric, which shoe you putting on?
It's always gas.
Oh,
it's like when it's like if.
But would you have both?
Yeah, I would try it.
Yeah, but you're not opposed to.
I like the gas because you could control. You hear when the car's not running.
Do you think electric cars are more greener than gas-powered cars?
In that aspect, I don't know. I really don't pay attention to that.
Yeah.
But people say yeah, some people. But you also got to realize those batteries are very hazardous. To get rid of them, I see the parts department.
Not even that, bro. Have you read up on the fucking slavery that goes into making them?
No, I haven't.
Look into it. They're made in the Congo. And the Congolese people in Africa are fucking being treated like dog shit.
It's like the people
to make these batteries.
It's like the Chinese people that make the iPhones.
But similar shit, because they're mining for cobalt. So anybody who owns anything with a rechargeable battery, like an iPhone, an electric car, anything like that, is automatically supporting slavery. Yeah. And they think that it's fucking green because and there's more of a carbon footprint for an electric car than there is for a gasoline powered car.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts.
And it's fucking nuts too, as in...
All in the name of global warming.
Yeah, and you look at it, to tow a Tesla, you're spending a lot of money.
Can't move it, right?
No.
So with a Tesla, for the people that don't know, when you let go of the pedal, it brakes for itself.
Every electric car is like that. It starts slowing down.
Like my scooter, same shit. You let go and
it slows down.
So you don't really go through brake pads as much, right?
No, not really.
But why is it doing that? That's a gearbox?
I want to say yeah. I think they have a motor that just like dies it down. I really don't know too much about it.
But the first time I felt it, I drove one. I think it was a Model Y or something. My boy Tommy Amendola was having Tommy. Yeah. His car, and it's fucking like, whoa.
First electric car I went in, it was in school, BMW, and the teacher was like, oh, I like, he's a gearhead. He's like, yo, you got a fast Honda, and then he was like, yo, let's go for a ride. So he took 4 students out of the class was me and 2 other kids, and including himself, that's 4 people. I said 4 students. That's 4 people. And literally, I went and I was just like, oh shit! But then after a while, you're just cruising. I'm like, I don't like that.
They don't have top speed either, right? The acceleration's phenomenal.
The top speed, it's there, but you don't feel it because they're just so comfortable. You're just
like the Tesla Plaid. Like your man Chris from Long Island Tire, he has a Tesla Plaid, and it did like 9 seconds or something to stop.
Yeah,
like, it's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, they're fast.
Like we can't, like you know what we gotta do to the 9 seconds.
You gotta do a lot, and it's crazy, but
it's hard to compete with that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but at the end of the day,
they don't have a manual and they don't make noise.
Yeah.
So you can fucking keep it.
I put it as I love using my hands and my feet.
But all that said, when I seen the EK from Rywire, I shit my pants. Yeah. I said,
well, you seen the EG bubble from Thailand?
The Captiva blue one?
With the,
is it Captiva or it's just blue?
I think it's Captiva blue.
Might be Captiva.
I'm not sure, but
it's definitely blue anyway.
Sequential gearbox.
Oh my god. And it looks good in there.
Yeah, it looks good. But
the Rywire one, is I guess it's not finished yet. You know what I mean? So
they just put it out.
It looks funny in there, you know what I mean? But he's just letting the world know. Here we are. And
that's how it is.
He said he's going to be building just trying to produce something.
Yeah,
and a platform for it.
That's something that
I have a Rywire harness in my car.
I always wanted one, but I'm stubborn. I take my OEM harness. I
pay big money for it, and I still got issues. But I don't think it's Rywire. I don't think it's Rywire's problem. But
I peeled my OEM harness and I just put like heat shrink, and I make it nice.
Yeah.
So
see, but you can make it nice if you have patience and you do it.
Well, back in the day, my dad.
You had to make it nice. You
back in the day, my dad and all his friends, they just get a roll of black tape and just tighten it up, straight and tight, and So,
if you, like I said, if you have patience and you do it right, you can make it nice.
You can make anything nice if you put your mind to it.
100%.
No matter what, that's if you really want to make something look creative, no matter what, you're always gonna find someone's attention with it. Whether it's you're painting you make a helicopter pink. Someone's gonna be like, "Oh, this shit's gangster."
That fucking thing over there, I pulled that thing out of the fucking garbage.
Yeah, you got a wagon.
Yeah.
You made it to your likings, and
shit was wrecked, man. I mean, the guy looked, "What are you buying that for?" I bought it for $10.
And
you make something out of it. You
made something out of it. Look at these seats. You made something out of it. Some people might be like, "He's stupid for that," and some people might be like, "That shit's gangster."
Worst comes to worst, if I even wanted to sell the seats, I just unbolt them.
Yeah. That's simple.
The fucking rails are still on there, you know what I mean? They're just on the top of the office chair. But you know what? It put me into. I seen people selling fucking seats for mad money, and then I put these up, and people weren't even gonna give me $100. So I was like, fuck it, I'm gonna make something out of it.
That's how it is.
You know what I mean? So, and I'm glad. And the barrel too. I said, I want to make something a wee bit different.
Yeah, the barrel's very cool. I like that. Something is always. You
gotta use your head.
Imagination. It's imagination. Everyone's still a little kid, no matter what. You could be 70 years old. You still have that little kid mentality, like, yo, I wish I would have done that. You're gonna do it.
And it's okay to get inspiration from people too. A lot of people get like I don't know what the word for it. Like they get upset at themselves because somebody else inspired them. It's okay to be inspired.
They try to say,
"Oh, it was my idea," or
they'd be like, "Oh, they could be like, oh, listen,
like me, I'm doing this podcast. Joe Rogan is massive inspiration for me. I mean, and he's not the first podcaster, but he's definitely one of the originals. I listen to his podcast every fucking day. Not only because he's a phenomenal person, but the people he brings on.
Yeah,
and he doesn't allow bullshit.
It doesn't. No matter what, you always take a different perspective towards things. You always put your spice, your touch.
They're not you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's.
I'm really excited for the YouTube channel too, because you're doing the paint the engine bays and all.
I'm trying. Like literally, right now my mindset is, I put an ad on Facebook. I've been posting it up on Instagram and shit. Like I said, I made my Instagram.
I was thinking about doing that myself. So what way does that work? You pay and it promotes it for you?
What?
The ad.
Facebook?
The ad.
I don't know. I just posted it on Marketplace. I just put.
You put it on the marketplace? Because I know Facebook you can pay.
Yeah,
it promote it for you.
It red flagged me one ad, and it was like, you could pay for ads, and I was like, I'm not gonna pay for that shit. But my goal, I got a lot of ideas. I'm young, and right now,
got all the time in the world, man.
Yeah, one idea is like a engine bay restoration. Start my
Just engine base, or you want to do the whole car? You just want to start with a base and get...
Well, I could do whole cars, but if I could stick to one thing, like, you know, say
Specialty.
you call me like, hey, Fernando, I need my engine bay done, like, give me the, you know, give me the hookup. And I do your engine bay nice. You know, if I could master that, I could have more people be like, yo, he's just good.
It's a niche, you know? People don't do just that. You know?
And it's funny enough, because somebody privately messaged me, and because I put them in forums and groups to add, and somebody privately, he's like, yo, come to Florida. There's people that don't do that here. They're like, yo, you would get so much clientele. And I'm just like, would
you offer to take the motors out for people, or you want the car? You want the car to come?
No, I even put that in that. You know, obviously prices ranges. You know,
what about reinstalling?
That would all go. That will all be in one price. Okay. So you know, you tell me, hey,
but that's an option that's available for you.
Yes, that would be an option, and you know, I'm not gonna screw you over. I'm not out to get anyone.
No, I know.
I'm out to just help everyone.
You're on the right path, man. I'm telling you, I see big things for the future.
I got nothing to hide from anyone. You know, everyone starts somewhere. Like if somebody my age says, "Hey, listen, I want to do what you're doing," by all means, I'm helping you. I'm telling you what to do or not to do. Like, it's funny. I reached out to Ty Boogie the other day, and I was like, "Listen, I'm struggling."
He's a gentleman.
I'm like, "Listen, I'm struggling to." I'm like, I don't want to bother you, but I was like, "Listen, I want to insert a clip into what I'm doing. How do I do that?" And he explained it to me, and I've been trying. I've been learning. I'm like, "Oh shit, you know, that's what people in this world need."
Yo, I've seen videos he was doing this shit like 2007 and all. Like, yeah, it's fucking.
I started following Ty Boogie when I was like probably like 12, and I would watch him when him and his brother, when the green bubble that they have, not his, the other one that they have, his brother's car, when it was just an NA car, when they were weighing doors and shit. I'm like,
I seen him at the track in his all-wheel drive car.
Yeah, I seen him too.
Moves.
Yeah, his car's fast.
And he did more work to it again after that, I think.
Yeah, I seen that.
But he's a really humble, really nice fellow.
That's what we need in this world. Humble.
And he's a funny fucker too. He sees some of his shit he posts. He got a good sense of humor.
Humble people.
I asked him to come on here too, so.
Yeah, that's
What's the people we need to, show.
To show that,
It's the kind of legends we have in our community,
Yeah, it's not all about, It's not all
clout
about
chasing, as they call it.
About, how can I explain it? It's not about where you're at, like rankings. Some people might be master, like people going 7-second cars. Those are people that kids my age, little kids, look up to. Like you said, I heard it in one of your podcasts. Miller says it. Be good because people that the little kids are looking up to, and I was.
They're here watching.
Yeah, I was once that little kid, and look where I'm at.
And we still have it, even though we're not kids anymore. But we still have that in us. That kid will hopefully never die in me.
Yeah, and that's one thing I like about Miller's events too, because little kids are there. Little kids. I was once that little kid. I remember.
Rev it, mister, please.
Yeah.